Welcome back. We are Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. I'm Brian Olea.
I'm Jennifer Pershing, and I'm so excited because today we have one of my favorite people of my whole life on the show. We've talked a lot about my journey to Playboy, and our guest today, Skip, has had a big role in that as well. So, welcome, Skip.
Hi, Jen.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Good, Brian.
Good.
Oh, great, man. Been a while. I think last time I saw you, we were having dinner at Michelli's, that
Yeah.
really cool Italian place in Hollywood.
Yep. Home of the mobsters. That's a real old mobster place. We can talk
It
about
had
that.
that feel. It was really
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Yeah. Old
That's really
Hollywood.
cool. So speaking of Hollywood, so you were like the leader of the Key Club at like the biggest Hollywood night, Monday nights, Steel Panther, which actually Metal School when we met each other. So like tell us a little bit about like working at Key Club and what that was like, running this crazy night that everybody had to be at with these celebrities going crazy and all of the chaos that you had to deal with.
Well, the Key Club was interesting because, as you know, the strip had already had, established venues, the Roxy, the Whiskey. Of course, we all ate at the Rainbow every night. And you had all the other venues up and down the street when the strip was really thriving. And then everyone was trying to figure out who are these people coming in with this like high tech venue type club. And so I was at the forefront of it. I was guarding the walls. I was actually guarding the building because there weren't doors on the building yet, and all the tools were inside, and they couldn't put doors. So a bunch of us spend the night in front of the doors in the summertime, waiting for that place to open. And then they had the big opening when the sidewalk was closed down, and they had, I think it was, believe it or not, Tony Bennett and the Gin Blossoms. But it was a great night. And then the journey with Steel Panther was very interesting. One night I got a call years later from the owners, who we all love, the Pressmans, and they said, hey, there's this group going to be playing downstairs in the Plush Lounge, we all remember, called Video Star. Just take care of them. They didn't give me anything else. I had no idea who these guys were. It's Thursday night. I don't care if there's 10 people or 100 people. Take care of them. Whatever. So, when you have, as a manager, the right to give away as much alcohol and food as you want, everyone, you're everybody's best friend.
Right.
So that's what I did. So I find out later that two of the guys were in this band called Metal School that were playing at the Roxy. Now, I had no idea who they were, who Metal School was. I would drive by the marquee at the Roxy every night and see National Lampoon Presents Metal School. So these guys, Travis and Darren, were in this Video Star band along with Matt Fuller, and I can't remember the bass player's name. And they said, why don't you come see us at the Roxy one night? So I went over there. I was treated like a king. And I saw it and I went, I know what's going on here. So I went back to the owners. I go, you're going to try to get these guys, aren't you? Because I'd heard something about their contract. And he goes, yeah, but don't say anything. We're going to make them it's like the old Godfather thing. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Their contract ended, and they got him over to the Key Club. And as you know, they put in all the bells and whistles, the flying apparatus.
Oh my gosh.
So if you really think about how crazy Hollywood and New York and Nashville, you would never think like a Monday night was like the night to go out. I mean, I would venture to say it was the longest running show in show business. I would think maybe,
right.
I know back in the day, Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Newark was a big deal, and some of those crazy kind of movies. But I mean, Monday night on the Sunset Strip, it was like the hottest ticket in town.
Right.
So that's how it all began with me and the band. And then, well, what's your next question? I can tell everybody how I met you.
This is so cool. So for Skip, for me, I'm kind of having all these crazy flashbacks, and it's cool. I mean, you just mentioned about putting in the trapeze thing. Remember
the flying guitar solo?
Oh
Those
yes,
are the
that
best.
was sick. But what was so cool about the whole thing, that when Metal School with who became Steel Panther, is that they were really celebrating 80s metal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going, what more of a perfect place? Because I can flash back when Hollywood was just littered with freaking flyers. That's how you did it. There was no social media. And the Key Club was Gazzarri's. And this is back when I was in a band called Albatross. And we used to play at Gazzarri's all the time. And then pay to play started happening. Dude, I actually got to sit out there with Bill in the parking lot because he was concerned going, why don't you guys come back? I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this pay to play crap. And explain, goes, well, what's wrong? And I explained and go, this is what's going to happen. You're going to kill Hollywood. And it wasn't just Bill. It was all the clubs were starting to kind of get in it. And Orange County started opening things up. But it tripped me out that we had this. He was so he loved music. He loved the bands. He really wanted to have cool friendships, relationships with everyone. Sitting there for him to willing to listen. And we had this great conversation. Then all of a sudden, I get the call. He passed away. And I went, what? I just had like one of the last coolest conversations with Bill Gazzarri. So when I saw that was turning into the Key Club, I'm like, what the heck is this going to be? I don't know, man. I got so many memories of what it was. And what you did with Steel Panther, I mean, with, Metal School becoming Steel Panther, I think it was perfect. I think even Bill would have been like, rock on, man. You kept
here's a little behind the scenes stuff you guys might not know. They weren't going to rebuild the whole place. But what happened was the Northridge quake basically demolished it in 94. So they had to tear it down and scrap it back up. Also, when we first opened, we were Billboard Live. And the establishment and the underground artists hated us. They didn't like the affiliation with Billboard. They didn't like how clean and neat the building was. There wasn't like enough, scratches and paint falling off, and it didn't smell like vomit or smoke yet. So it was like it was an uncool place to play. A lot of the bands that came through there said, we still want to play the Whiskey and the Roxy. So until ownership changed and became Billboard and became Key Club, which was really cool. The owners had a contest with the staff, and they was going to give all kind of a prize for the name, but the owner came up with the name, so none of the staff got to collect. But that's kind of like the background on how it became Key Club, and then it took off from there. Then they started saying, well, we want to be underground, we want to be cool. And you got to be careful with that cool hip thing too, because cool and hip don't last too long. So there's just a couple underground stories for you guys.
That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break, Skip.
Okay.
This is so cool because I'm just flashing back like I wish someone would put together the right movie so they really understand what it was like, because I've never seen anyone be able to pull it off. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. Skip, we're loving this. You are listening to Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. And we're back. Rogue Bunnies Mayhem.
Okay. So I have this question. So when we had Matt Chin on a couple weeks ago, he explained his perspective of meeting me and the whole road to Playboy. So I'm interested in your what goes on in your brain when you think of the first time we met and you saw me go through this transformation. And I ended up actually shooting my pictorial in the Key Club and in the Plush Lounge. So it's like all encompassing for me, your involvement in all of that. So what was that like for you, and what do you remember?
So I've told you this. So people fight to get, and as any show, as you know, Brian, Jenn, to get on that stage, to get in front of the stage. So they're not the cleanest and hygienically correct people on some of these shows. So, the band specifically said they wanted girls in front of the stage. No more of these big dudes with the, cut off shirts or their shirts off. And we know a couple of them. We won't mention their names, Jenn. Right? And they wanted girls in front of the stage. So one night, I used to hang out stage right next to Lexi and guard his makeup in his mirror. Mm-hmm. And one night, out of the blue, I see Jenn, Elise, and Jamie just in between this just onslaught. And the one woman, I won't mention her name, who used to elbow people to get the spot.
Oh
Can we use her name? Or should we? No, we probably shouldn't.
Yeah, we shouldn't use her name.
Okay. Anyway, so my job was to make sure security cleared out these people. So I see these three girls just getting crunched. So I went to the front of the stage, on stage, pointed to three of them, and I said, "Follow me." I had them sit next to me, stage right on the stairs. They were, Brian. Those infamous stairs that very few people got to sit on. Mm-hmm. And that's how it started. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, they're going to get killed out there. But there was kind of a community that started there. There was a group of people that started looking out for, my side, stage right. It was kind of like a communal thing. And then that's how we started getting to know Jenn, Jamie, and Elise. And then of course, when Petty Cash started playing downstairs,
Yeah.
which we can talk about later, but we just all kind of formed a bond, and there were some friends that kind of kept an eye on everybody on that side so I could keep the stage. So stage right and over had not only like the cool people, we had all the best looking girls too there.
Yeah, we would. I mean, I sat on those steps to watch
Insane.
every show. It was great.
Oh.
I was safe.
Oh, I could picture it right now,
wristbands.
Jen.
Yeah.
There's
Oh.
Jen right there on the steps. Yep.
And sometimes I'll go back on YouTube and I'll like search Steel Panther Metal School, and everyone's videos, I'm just sitting there on the step, like I'm in every single video.
Yeah.
But it was the best place to be, and we were right by the door. Where like during the breaks, we would just shoot down the door to go downstairs, get another drink. So we knew all the back, like all the back hallways and staircases and stuff to just do what we had to do real quick, and didn't ever have to go through the crowd. It was like the total VIP experience. So
that's how that started.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And you were the reason that I even met the band to begin with, which then opened up the way for, Darren to have Matt. Yeah, because I think we were downstairs in the plush lounge and you were like, you want to meet the guys? And we were like, of course. I mean, we were like groupies at that point, standing there like, oh my God, these guys are so amazing. And then we went backstage and met them, and then that was a whole new level. So you have such a big part in everything that's come my way. So
well, the funny thing is, when I first met him, I said, "There's no way these girls are from LA." they were too down to earth. They were hot and they were down to earth. I was going, no, they're not LA girls.
Right.
So I felt it was like I had to be like their big brother or stepfather and make sure that, but it did create a lot of, and like you said, that back door was the instant access to get into plush before anybody.
Right.
Clean bathrooms down there.
Clean bathrooms. Yep.
So
that was the best.
Yep.
And then Steel Panther, the Key Club ended, and then we moved it just down the street to the House of Blues. So the family picked up, and we moved down the street, and it continued there as well. It's been it's like I have my Playboy family and I have my Steel Panther family.
I did want to mention one thing though, and I know the Steel Panther, but when we brought Petty Cash in downstairs, it brought a whole new dynamic, because now all of a sudden you have Pink jamming down there. You've got every major recording artist jamming with Petty Cash, and you knew if Pink was going to be down there and all the others performing with them, she'd probably go upstairs and perform, which they did. So there was this huge party. Like no one goes out at 7, 8 o'clock at night in Hollywood on a Monday. Place was packed at 7 o'clock on Monday. And then everyone goes upstairs afterwards. And to me, it's still like, I always talk to people about this. This could never happen again, any sort of like venue, live music format set up anymore, I don't think. And then, as Jen said, when the Key Club was having its downturn, like a lot of people did in 2008 and 2009, it got to transition to House of Blues right away. And it became a whole new, bigger party.
Right.
You can imagine.
And everything went up into the foundation room. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, right. I remember you jumping on drums every once in a while with Petty Cash too.
Yeah, I got to hack my way. Yeah. It's funny you bring that up though, is because it was time, as sad as it was to leave Key Club, they had to expand. And that foundation room kind of created a whole nother thing before and after, because you could, although we had food at Key Club foundation room, we could have a full dinner down there and everybody can hang out. It was right near the dressing rooms as well. So it was a natural order of moving on. And
yeah, it was pretty crazy, man. It was so much fun. You know what, Skip? It's as you both are talking about, like seeing Hollywood, which used to be the weekends were insane, and now it's a Monday night, and it's so cool just to flash back. Prior to all of the Key Club and stuff, though, Skip, I mean, you're an actor. You have an extensive career. What were you doing? Did you always work with bands or clubbing? How did you get started even over at the Key Club?
I got started at Key Club because I worked at this place called Peanuts, which was a gay club on Santa Monica Boulevard, but they had Hollywood nights there, they had a Hollywood night there, I believe, on Tuesday. I think it was called Granville. And they had a security, who Jen, Rick, was the head of security there. And it was a big celebrity go out. And, you could say it was more or less known as a straight Hollywood night. but it was an off night once again on Tuesday night at a gay nightclub, but it was just packed. So that's how I got introduced to going to work at Billboard Live because of Rick head of security. But I've always worked in clubs so I could, go out on auditions during the day. And that's, that's what you do. You either work at a restaurant or a club or a bar or whatever. So you have your days free to go on auditions. So I got lucky with that. And that got me to Rick taking me over. I actually, the first year of Billboard Live, I was working as security. And the owner said, this guy should be working security. Get him down with the artists and the venues. So I got kind of lucky there. So as you know, all this stuff is just luck, serendip, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It was all luck, but yeah.
That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break. Skip, hold with us. We'll be right back, everybody. You are going to hear some fun stories about Hollywood. And I know we got some serious stuff to talk about. We'll probably continue that on into a second show, but we'll be right back. You are listening to Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. We're back, Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. Jen and I are having a blast talking with Skip. We're talking about the old Key Club, the Hollywood days, the crazy stuff that we've always tells everyone, like Steel Panther nights were insane. But you guys were also mentioning about Plush, and there was a band, Petty Cash. We all know them. They're our friends. Mm-hmm. But for those that are going, who's Petty Cash? It was an all-star band. I mean, I was blessed to have a really cool friendship with, and I still do, with Todd Morris, who then eventually married Kimberly Morris. And we're going to be getting Todd on the show and Kimberly back again as well. But it was an all-star band, man. That was pretty sick. They played nothing but Petty Cash and Johnny Cash songs.
Right. Because they were all in their own bands, right? So they just did this when they were not touring. So they really, because I remember seeing Phil and Jason in Brigantine a few years ago because they were with Fuel. So I went, and that was kind of cool because the band's playing, and then after they're standing at the bar talking to me for hours and hours, and everyone's looking at me like, how do you know the band? And they're like, what do you mean? We've been friends with her for like 15 years now. So yeah, amazing people. And another like offshoot of family that we all became. It was so great.
Yeah, I mean, Todd now is in Offspring. Mm-hmm. Kemba Walters is in Chevelle. They're still the band backing band. I mean, they are Juliet the Licks. Mm-hmm. Yep. Phil's doing a lot of acting, and I know, and we'll talk about Jason in a minute. Jason is the Man in Black. I mean, if they ever, I tell everybody, like, this guy is Johnny Cash reborn. Totally. And the last time I saw him perform, I saw him actually in Vegas, and it was like, he just gets better. I think he's a very underrated guy in this town, for sure. They all are, but I mean, Jason's just got that something you can't teach, that Johnny Cash. People always imitate him, but Jason has his own spin on it. He's amazing with him.
I agree, man.
And they got Dylan, who's the newer drummer, who's been there for a while. And that guy does every session in every band in town. So Dylan Murphy. And are we missing anybody? Phil Buckman. I think we got everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing those guys, and I said, "Wow, this is genius! It is so cool, mm-hmm. and the musicianship is just sick." So yeah, if they do shows here and there, every so often, surprise people, they get back together, and if they're all available, so we'll definitely promote Petty Cash if we do hear they're going to be playing. But there is a GoFundMe going on right now that maybe we should kind of tell people about, because we always want to help people. It's what we call Mayhem awareness.
Right. It is for Jason Womack. Jason, unfortunately, got cancer last year, and it's come back. And I'm going to try to find the GoFundMe page for it, because at the moment I can't. But I know you can. Jen, are you good at finding that stuff?
Okay, so I've found the link. If anyone wants to look into this, you just go on GoFundMe and you search Jason Womack, and it will come up. And his last name is spelled Womack, and then you can read all about everything that's going on and donate and see how you can help. But it would mean a lot to all of us, because he's been a big part, of all of our stories too. So anything you can do to help out. Because it's hard when you're a musician, you don't really have a lot of, you're not working a normal 9 to 5 with, insurance that helps you out.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
your money is going to your treatment, and then what's taking care of your family when you're not out on the road and getting that income in. So family helps family, right? So
That's a
that's
great
what we
point.
want to do for him.
And I did want to say last night I was with Kimball and he was telling me the treatment he needs. And I don't need to tell anybody how much healthcare is, but when you're hit with something like this, luckily I haven't been too bad with this, but it just floors me how much people still have to pay to not to die.
Right.
We could get into that another time. It just blows me away how we treat people when they're ill, but it's an insane amount of money this guy's got to spend every day just to get his treatment. So anything helps, as we say.
Right.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. That is, yeah. Oh man, but I know we're going to want to do a part 2, and we do want all of our listeners to understand that yes, we want to promote fun. We want to tell you some crazy fun stories that we've had through our lives. And I'm sure that's why most of you do tune in. But we also realize that by having an audience, takes responsibility, and you can choose what to do with that. And I love the fact that, you, Jenn, Victoria, we've all talked about, we want to help awareness for causes that are happening to our friends around us and probably affects a friend near you or a family member. So we get behind organizations like we're talking about doing the GoFundMe. We get behind Children of the Night, which is phenomenal. Great organization helping these teenagers get off the streets. But I know, Skip, you were saying that this kind of hits home too for you, right?
Well, cancer survivor. Luckily, I had friends that got me aware of it early on. So I'm a 4-year cancer survivor with prostate cancer, which, by the way, I can tell you that the reason why there are any deaths with prostate cancer, because especially men will not go to their doctor's appointments or go see a doctor, men or worse, about going to see the doctor. Because I talk to friends, I haven't been to a doctor in 20 years. Like, not only is it a responsibility of yourself, but you have a family or kids or parents are like, it's a blood test. You go, for prostate cancer, it's a PSA test. But just get it done. You go get your blood test done. I don't have a doctor. You can go to any clinic. You can walk in an emergency room and tell them that you're not feeling well and you'd like to get your blood test, that they have to do it. They just can't turn you away. So there's really not an excuse unless you can't get somewhere and tell somebody you need a ride to go get a blood test or go see a doctor. It's one of the leading causes of people not being able to survive things that maybe could be survivable or giving them a longer life.
Right. Thanks for saying that, Skip. We're going to wrap this out. We are going to keep you in studio, and we are going to do a part 2. So again, everyone out there, tell your friends, come up, sign up, follow us. We're on every single podcast platform, but we want to give best of both worlds. We want to talk about some really fun stuff, but also take responsibility for helping others. We are Rogue Bunnies Mayhem. I'm Brian Olea.
Jennifer Pershing.
Skip, thank you so much, buddy.